House of Representatives passes 2020 amended appropriation bill of 10.801 trillion naira. Senate considers bill to repeal the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Local Content Act, frowns at abuse of work permit and expatriate quota. Plus, NAPTI proposes special quota for rapists and child traffickers. Good evening and welcome to the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24, reaching you live from Abuja, the nation's capital. I'm Abdul Malik Adil. Now, the 14th meeting of the Federal Executive Council for the year 2020 has just ended at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, the nation's capital. Like the previous ones held virtually, President Muhammadu Buhari presided over and was joined by Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Chief of Staff to the President, and few ministers. Members of the highest policy decision-making body of the government participated online from their offices. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that some ministers were slated to give account of their stewardship to the council. More details of the outcome of this meeting will come your way in our subsequent bulletin. Now, following the reprisal attack by insurgents in villages of Gobiu local government area of Borno State, which left several people dead, the House of Representatives has called for intensified patrol in the affected areas. The House, while debating on the issues as a matter of urgent public importance, moved by Representative Usman Zana, also called for constitutional amendment to enable law-abiding Nigerians bear arms to defend themselves against attacks. The lawmaker Northeast Development Commission to assist victims in the affected villages covering Gobiu, Magumeri, and Ganzai. Wednesday plenary also adopted a motion from Representative Garba Dati calling for a review of Nigerians' foreign policy in view of the increase in reported cases of racial discrimination against black people. And the House of Representatives has passed the amended 2020 appropriation bill of 10.801 trillion naira. The approved amount is 300 billion naira more than the revised figure of 10.5 trillion submitted by the executive. The House also approved $5.5 billion presidential loan request to fund the budget, executive priority project, port project by state government. Now, the Senate is considering a bill that seeks to repeal the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Act of 2020 and enact the Nigerian Local Content Development and Enforcement Commission. The bill, which has passed second reading, seeks, among others issues, to have a single commission that will supervise the enforcement of local content in all sectors of the Nigerian economy under unified law. The bill also strives to ensure that Nigeria looks inward in its economic development to check the abuse of work permit and expatriate quota. The Senate has confirmed in another development the nomination of 6 persons as members of the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. They are Salamatu Bala, Alfred Ebo, Ahmed Yeguda, Oladele Beya, Bello Wamako, and Ahmed Yusuf, while Emmanuel Rosso was not confirmed as a result of security reports against him from the Department of Security Service. It also confirmed Lamido Yeguda as Director General of the Security and Exchange Commission, and Reginald Karawosa and Ibrahim Boyi and Obisen Joseph as full-time commissioners. Now, on behalf of the Nigeria On behalf of Nigerians and the Federal Executive Council, President Muhammadu Buhari sends warm greetings to the leadership of the members of the 9th National Assembly on their first anniversary, extolling the sense of duty and diligence in handling issues relating to the development of the country. A statement to the President and Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says President Muhammadu Buhari salutes the vision, courage and patriotism of the Assembly, noting with appreciation the understanding and maturity of the lawmakers in speedily processing bills that directly impact the welfare of Nigerians, courageously finding common ground to move the country forward, and passionately carrying out their oversight functions with justice and fairness. The President presents his goodwill to Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, congratulating them for using their wealth of knowledge and experience, wisdom, to ensure a peaceful working relationship among lawmakers, both in the both chambers, the judiciary and the executives, by always focusing on of nation building. Now to Plateau State, Simon Bako Lalong, the governor of Plateau State, has rejoiced with the 9th State Assembly, on its first year anniversary under the leadership of the Speaker, Right Honorable Nuru Ayuba. A statement by the Director of Press Public Affairs to the Governor of Plateau State, Dr. Bakut Simon Machem, indicates that Governor Lalong, in a congratulatory message, said the legislative arm of government has remained proactive through and responsive in carrying out its duties of lawmaking and oversight. Lalong also described their conduct as exemplary because they have constantly extended a collaborative spirit in all engagement with the executive arm and the heads of MD course of carrying out their duties. He particularly commended them for diligently scrutinizing and passing the 2020 budget on time, and also supporting the fight against COVID-19 as well as measures taken to address the economic and health impact of the disease. He wished the Assembly fruitful engagement ahead of their continued to serve, as they continue to serve the people of the state and contribute to the consolidation of the state rescue mission. Now, while lauding the achievement of the current administration and the successes recorded in the rail sector over the past 5 years, Guest and Good Morning Nigeria noted, unless the momentum of change being experienced in the rail development is sustained across all sectors, the country may be infrastructure in the years ahead. The guest, while speaking on issues 5 years of the Buhari administration focused on road development, Daniel Aderie has the details.
Without mentioning word, the government and the minister have taken this thing as a personal, just taking personal interest on it and ensuring that results are achieved. That was reduce the cry and clamor and the persistent news of ticket racketeering. Coaches were ordered, and as we speak, 2 locomotives, 5 coaches have already arrived at Abuja. While additional 5 and a set of BMU are in Papalanto.
Even as the managing director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation rolled out some of the gains recorded in the rail sector so far, the guests noted some of the downsides in the areas of private partnerships, investors, and choice of contractors used in projects. They agreed that many of these issues and more may affect the growth and development of rail transport development in the country in more ways than one.
I can't tell you the number of times I've had to listen to prospective investors. But the truth in it is everybody wants to see what he or she can get from government.
We have black people all over the world. Black lives matters. If you look for great engineers, you don't need to look for Chinese. Go to Chicago, go to New York. You see black engineers there, bring them here.
We have to go online. Once we are online, nobody will go. You won't even see the money. You buy your ticket online from your bedroom, on your bed, and you just go to the train station.
Noting that the goal is far from achieved, the guests urge Nigerians to support the government by ensuring regular maintenance of already provided infrastructure in Nigeria. In Abuja, Daniel Adiriye, MT News.
We're still talking developmental stride. Governor Abdullahi Sule has led a delegation of Nasarawa State to express appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for approving the federal government takeover and funding of Farin Ruwa Dam project in the state. The delegation was in Abuja to convey the appreciation through the Water Resources Minister Suleiman Adamu. Musbar Dan Wahab reports.
Farin Ruwa Waterfalls present the potential, and Farin Ruwa Dam, a Wamba local government area of Nasarawa State, was initiated in 2000. 73 million cubic meters capacity to supply water to no fewer than 10 communities in the state. However, the good intention of a project went on hold at about 60% completion due to purported paucity of funds. Joining list of abandoned projects in the state like Akwanga and Doma regional water supply schemes. Hope was rekindled in 2018 when President Buhari approved the takeover. And last week, the Federal Executive Council meeting approved 8.1 billion naira for the reactivation and completion of the project. This delegation of traditional rulers and National Assembly members from the state, led by Governor Abdullahi Sule, underscores the importance of the project to them.
Thank Mr. President.
And they hope to leverage on it when completed to shore up the state's agriculture.
With this kind of project, very close to a waterfall, we have the opportunity to have all kinds of agricultural activities, whether it is rice or cassava or sugarcane of anywhere between 15 to 30,000 hectares easily because of the kind of soil that we have.
And this is not only approving on that point, it ordered the immediate release of 700 million naira for the project.
State government projects. It has never happened. But then, this is the first.
As from the water supply components, the project will also include irrigation facility and 20 megawatts high power capacity, which is to be concessioned. In Abuja, Musbal and Wahab, NT News.
Thanks, Musbal. NAPT has made a proposal for a special court to try rapists and child traffickers in the country. Part of this suggestion is that henceforth, anyone who justifies rape in Nigeria will be arrested as a suspect. Director General, Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, Julie Okandule, said this while reacting to the rate of rape cases in the country in recent times. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
Last few weeks, Nigeria has been witnessing growing incidents of rape in most parts of the country. Some go unreported due to trust gap, stigma, cultural barrier, and religious sentiment, and even inability of victims to see this. This meeting, organized by NAPTIP and relevant agencies, is in response to the growing rates of sexual violence against girls and women in Nigeria. Presently, only in gender-based violence.
This is a clarion call for states to domesticate the violence against persons and in their states, state governors and assemblies that are delaying in domesticating the act are inadvertently promoting sexual and gender-based violence in their domain. NAPTIP has developed a template of procedural response for victims. Do not take a bath. Do not change your clothes. If the rapist used the condom, collect it for evidence. Please do not destroy. Immediately and ask for a doctor's report.
Talk about this thing. For God said, this lady was the road close to wearing hijab. What else do you want them to wear? You know? It doesn't make sense. We said because they go to places they are not supposed to go. This lady was raped in a church. Where do you want them to go? Children are raped in schools. Where do you want them to go?
The need for parents to actively check the engagements of their children, break the culture of silence, and stop victims from shame are some of the positions taken by the agency. Adebola, Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
And you're watching the News Desk at 6, broadcast live on NTA News 24, reaching live from Abuja, the nation's capital. More news when we return, to stay tuned.
You can imagine that you do not have 2 sunrises in one day, even in Africa. But the good thing is for us to forgive and forget.
History will take care of everything. My name is Baba Kingibe.
On behalf of the federal government, I tender the nation's apology to the fellow of late MPO.
And thanks for staying tuned. Now, Kwara State has lost another COVID-19 patient, the second casualty since the pandemic broke out in the state. A statement by the Chief Press Secretary to the Governor and Kwara State Technical Committee on COVID-19, Rafiu Ajakaye, said the patient was a 50-year-old female with serious underlying medical conditions. The Technical Committee condoles with family and states the need for everyone to keep safe by adhering to all COVID-19 safety protocols and guidelines. The committee also announced the discharge of 18 patients who have tested twice negatively for the virus. In its highest number of cases recorded so far per day, the NCDC has announced 663 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. The 663 new confirmed cases released at 11:45 p.m. on June 9, 2020, raised the total number of cases to 13,464 with 107 cases. Lagos has the highest number in the breakdown, while Ogun has 108. Others are Bauchi with 69 cases, Ebonyi 49, Edo 33, Rivers 30, with the federal Jigara recording 26 cases each. Delta has 20, Anambra 17, while Gombe and Kano has 16 cases each. Imo recorded 15 new cases, Abia 14, Borno and Oyo 11 each, while Plateau 8 and Kebbi and Kaduna have 6 new cases. There are 4 new cases in Ondo, Niger and Katsina recorded 2 each, while Osun, Ekiti, Kwara and Nasarawa has 1 case each. Lagos remained on the top chart of the COVID-19 with 6,065 cases, followed by Kano with 1,020 cases, closely trailed by the Federal Capital Territory with 1,012 cases of COVID-19 so far. 4,006 recovered patients have been discharged with 365 deaths recorded so far. Now, Nigeria has not yet peaked. That is why greater responsibility and compliance with safety protocols and guidelines are required of every citizen to win the fight against the infectious disease. These are the views of National Coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliyu, while appraising 100 days of the national response on NTA's current affairs program, Nigeria Today.
Now appears to be a degree of reluctance by the public to come forward and be tested. It's no longer an issue of limitation of test reagents. We have test reagents for about 200,000 in the country. country. We've moved from having just 5 laboratories testing at the beginning of the pandemic to almost 30 now in the country. We've also made the laboratories more accessible. The only way we can stop this pandemic is for people to change their behavior. There's no vaccine, there's no drug. It's all in our hands. It's all about me and you being aware of our risks all the time. And one of the key measures is risk communication and community engagement. We need to give people an independent voice. We need to enable people to take responsibility for their own health and also perceive correctly the risk of catching COVID.
Dr. Ali also gave reasons for the suspension and review of the protocols for evacuation of Nigerians abroad.
The deportees that we brought, for instance, almost 30% of them were positive with COVID. About 35 were infected. So we don't want to add the problem we already have in country. But at the same time, we know that these Nigerians need to come back. How do we get them to come back as quickly and as safe as possible? The government does not have the resources to continue to pay for accommodation for 14 days.
Yes.
That is, if we were to continue paying for accommodation, the money we will spend bringing in 4,000 to 5,000 Nigerians is enough for me to build 5 isolation and treatment centers across the country. So that's why we've introduced this testing before you board. The test needs to be done at least not more than 2 weeks from the time of boarding. You will be asked to sign a form to say that you agree to the host of measures that will be required. Be coming into Lagos and Abuja for the moment and not any other city. They will be advised on self-isolation. They will go home this time around. We are not going to put them up in any hotel, or they will need to make their own accommodation arrangements. The next day, they will go to the test center and have a sample taken. The reason why we're doing the repeat test is because if you're in the incubation period during the first phase, you're likely to have a negative result. So we do a second test. If it's negative, at least we know the likelihood of you having brought in the infection is pretty low.
Nigeria Today airs every weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. Now, the National Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has accessed, approved, and validated the Akwa Ibom State Polymerase Chain Reaction Laboratory for the testing of COVID-19 and other infectious diseases. The team described our lab as one of the best in the country. Susan Asuko report. Okay, we'll bring you details of that package in a subsequent bulletin. Now, the Ministry of Health continues to receive support towards curbing the spread of COVID-19 in the country. This time, it is the Committee of Register of Health Professionals donating professional protective equipment. Elika Opanachi Arwa report.
Against COVID-19 gets tougher in the country. More and more organizations are identifying with the frontline health workers. It is in this same spirit that the Committee of Registrars of Health paid a visit to the Federal Ministry of Health, where donation of personal protective equipment worth over 3 million naira to the Federal Ministry of Health. The committee also seized the opportunity to discuss some pressing matters affecting the effective operations.
We want the government to look at the decision of merging some of these agencies as a health personnel that are doing practice. You know that the function of these regulatory agencies are not the same. Merging some of them together may not be in the good interest of the healthcare delivery in Nigeria.
In spite of the challenges the government is facing in the fight against COVID-19 and other diseases in the country, the minister assures the committee of the ministry's support.
It costs a lot of money to protect yourselves, protect your citizens, protect the country. And nobody was ready for it. There's no budget. Nobody had a budget for COVID-19. So we have to rely on mobilizing money from it. And that's what we have to do. We have to mobilize money in order to go to make up something to use. And that means altering the budget.
The need for collaboration among stakeholders in the fight against COVID-19 was brought to the fore in Abuja. Alika Opanachi, Arua, NTA News.
And Next is sports, as Nigerian striker scores for Norwegian club. Details of this and more with the Sport Desk.
Nigeria's Peter Michael scored the only goal for Norwegian top division side Club Vålerenga in their 1-0 win against Budøy Glimt in Tuesday's friendly game. Michael scored in the 58 minutes to end Vålerenga the win against their club. Peter Michael is expected to be in action for Vålerenga when they visit Sapog next Tuesday in the first big game of the season. The 22-year-old joined Vålerenga from the Nigeria Professional Football League club Rivers United February 2018 after signing a 4-year deal. In the meantime, former Chelsea midfielder John Obi Mikel has left the door open for a potential move to the Egyptian Premier League in future. The 23-year-old is a free agent after ending his contract with Turkey's Super League club Trabzonspor by mutual agreement in March. Mikel quit the Black Sea Storm after expressing his fears of playing football amid the coronavirus pandemic. He was recently linked with a move to Brazilian side Botafogo, who showed interest to sign him, but the ex-Argentine captain claimed he was there to position. During a chat with Egyptian media outfit Home Time Sports, the two-time English Premier League winner was squeezed about the potential move to the Egyptian top flight. Also, Nigerian striker Chid Onokwai has joined English 6th-tier side St. Albans City, the Saints reported via their official website on Tuesday. Onokwai has joined the National League South outfit from another non-league side, Haringeyburg, for whom he scored 10 goals in 10 games before suffering an injury last November. Described as the most feared strikers outside the National League, he returned to full fitness before the league was cancelled as a result of the coronavirus pandemic.
You're still watching the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. Some of the top stories in the bulletin. House of Representatives passes 2020 amended appropriation bill of 10.801 trillion. The Senate considers bill to repeal the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Local Content Act and finds its abuse of work permit and expatriate quota. Plus, NAPTI proposes special court for rapists and child traffickers. This is NTA News 24. Thanks for staying tuned. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari warmly congratulates former Nigerian's permanent representative to the United Nations, Chief Arthur Banufo, on his 90th birthday. Special advisor to the President and Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, in a statement says the President believes the nonagenarian's leadership roles in the private and public sector have been most remarkable and impactful, attracting many recognitions and awards both within and outside the country and steadily inspiring confidence in the economy. As an advisor to many governments, President Muhammadu Buhari affirms Chief Arthur Banufo, who served in boardrooms, committees, and investigative panels, left an indelible imprint on some of the notable decisions, which includes creating strong institution for good and corporate governance. As a pro-chancellor and the chairman of the Council of Ahmadu Bello University, Obafemi Awolowo University, and the University of Lagos, at different times, the President salutes the diplomats' investment of time and resources in the education system in Nigeria, particularly his advocacy for skills development and entrepreneurship. And that concludes the news desk at 6 on NTA News 24. Many thanks for watching. I'm Abdul Malik. Adieu. Good evening.
Good. It's Newgate Hotel, a home away from home. Come and enjoy impeccable service in the world of hospitality from our reception point, restaurant and bar, corporate and event hall, power generator, accommodation and room service. There's guarantee for your money. We're located off Moshood Abiola Way, Olorumbo, Ijen Tutu, behind MKO Stadium, NNPC, Abeokuta, Ogun State. You can make bookings for any part of our facility ahead of time through telephone 0802 339 4610, 0803